we are. All right, here we are. Here we are. Here we are. All right, here we are. Here we are. South Beach Marina in beautiful San Francisco Bay. If you look right behind me, there's Oracle Park where the Giants play, and we're working on a J112E. So doing some upgrades. So it's kind of like a cruiser racer, more cruiser, and we're gonna turn it into a racer. So updating or upgrading the barber hauler system. And then we're gonna update the main sheet blocks. Let's see right there, main sheet blocks and traveler system, and put some chafe sleeves on, or chafe tip on a couple halyards, and put a Cunningham on because the existing one is like off of an FJ that comes with the boat. So yeah, there's just a few upgrades we're gonna do. So stand by. Okay, got the jib halyard down, so we're going to be putting a chafe sleeve over this part of the halyard so you can see where it's kind of rubbing here. So we're going to put a sacrificial Dyneema chafe sleeve in that section to make it a little bit more bomb-proof. So yeah. Okay, so I got all my tools out: electrical tape, torch, whipping twine and needle, Steelmaker's wax or beeswax. One of my different fids here, scissors, and yeah, that's what we should need for this project. Okay, so we're gonna enter in a few, I don't know, about 3 inches from the end here. Gonna poke this guy in. Milk this through, and this one is just going to come right out the end like that. So I got this through, chafe sleeve here, and now I can untape. Okay, and what we're going to do is I actually you can take the end of a fid and you can use that little edge and gonna kind of roll this back onto itself. Now, look it down. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this guy on. It just gets lark headed on, just like this. Milk that guy down to right there, and then we're gonna stitch that in place. We got our whipping twine. Giant needle that I grabbed. Look at the size of the head on that. You can't miss getting the thread through this sucker. And now we're just gonna do a whipping right here. Torch. Okay. Now we're just gonna whip this down. Nice and snug. Palm, so there we go. Just do a couple of passes here. This. Snip that off. securing this in, and now I'm gonna milk the Dyneema chafe sleeve over the top of the Dyneema here. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just snip this guy at an angle. Check. Once again, just make sure this is all milked out. Like that. And then I'm going to kind of bend it in half just so that I know where I've got to come out. So then I've got my puller here. I'm just going to stick it right down the middle. It's going to come out right there. And now we open it up, like spread the two pieces of wire apart, stick that guy in there. I'm going to kind of fold it back on itself and nice and easily pull it through. So once again, now I'm going to take the slack out of the Dyneema again. Just keep milking it. Okay. So now what I do is I'm going to kind of fan it out a little bit here. And then cut a nice kind of smooth taper. Then I take my beeswax here and heat it up with the torch just for a second. And then we're just going to wax this. Nice. It smells so good. I love the smell of this beeswax. It's kind of a pine tar kind of smell almost, but not. Alright, so that's all waxed up, and that's just going to hold it together. And then you just milk it down. Now I'm going to come in and do a lock stitch. I don't do the whipping like some people do, or they do the whipping around that area, because I feel like that makes just like a hard spot or a spot that could get caught in the sheave. Okay, put that up, pull it down. And now I'm just going to do a lock stitch here for a few inches. Okay, do one more here. Alright, so now cut that off. Torch, so now I've got that, and then what I like to do is take my beeswax and just kind of run it over, and that just kind of just keeps everything all nice and smooth and keeps it from kind of like puffing up. So now you got this like really nice, super smooth transition that's not going to get caught up in anything. Alright, so there we go. So that's how you put a chafe tip on a halyard. So another version, and because this one's lark's headed on, or cow hitched on, whatever you want to call it. I just did the chafe sleeve up to here. I do another version normally where I have the chafe sleeve going all the way around. But if I did that in this situation, it'd make it too bulky here. But yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Okay, so here's another shot of it here, so you can see beautiful taper, the chafe sleeve over the top, and then you can see it's whipped right there, and then you can see my lock stitching going there. So yeah, so that's this, and so now we're gonna pull the jib up, but before we do that, we're gonna put on our new jib sheets that are eye spliced in the end, and then a soft shock will go into them. So it's a bit of an upgrade from the original gray here with a bowline tied in it. So yeah, there we go. So I went ahead and put on the new jib sheets. So you can see, super simple. Soft shackle, and then you can see my soft shackles. I've got the little lantern so you can pull them open to be able to get them open a little bit easier. But yeah, so that's a little bit better than a bowline. And this gives you a little bit smoother transition going across the front of the mast, so you don't hang up on anything. So yeah. So for the next project on the J112 here, we're going to be upgrading the end haulers. And so the existing ones are these guys here, and they got like a stainless ring in there with an O-ring over the top. And obviously it's been an issue because it's banging stuff up, and you can see on the boat it's smashing it all up here. So my solution is these little rings. I've been doing this for a long time, but they're low friction rings with a piece of double braid whipped and melted around it, and it just gives it like a nice padding. Yeah, it's a little bit bigger, but it pads it nicely. So yeah, so that's one of the upgrades. And the other thing is that previous rigger did cascades, which is great, except for the problem with cascades is you lose your range of motion if you don't have a long enough distance. And so what we're doing is we're replacing the cascade with, you know, just a simple block and tackle, and we're going to reuse the existing cleats and pad eyes. That way we're not drilling any holes, but this is going to give them more range, because right now this is as far out as they can go with them, and I would like to be able to go out further, so you can dump the jib a little bit and twist it off or do whatever you need to do. But this like limits you because you're basically right over the car. So granted, it is an in hauler, but you don't want to have to de-rig it if a puff comes on or something like that. So yeah. Okay, so I got my line run through everything, and so now I'm gonna go ahead and splice this sucker up. So start with the end here, and we're doing a direct bury splice with the single braid. So I split in two, so 6 strands on one side, and then you cut away half. All right, and then what I'm gonna do is gonna bury. See all that? Get past here a few inches, and now I'm just gonna stick this guy down inside. Let's see. That's about right. Not sure what that noise is. Hopefully we're not under attack. Alright, and then we're just gonna, sorry, I did it real quick, but I folded it over on itself. Now, just pull it through. Super simple. Okay, and now what I do is I'm gonna do a lock stitch on this sucker real quick. It's the direct bury, so you gotta lock stitch it because there's no Brummel lock to keep it, to keep it from falling apart. If you keep it under load, it's not gonna go anywhere, but if it's getting thrashed about, it'll work its way loose. So just put the whipping twine through. Cut those guys off evenly. Torch is not cooperating in the wind today. It's just gonna be a matter of, we're gonna give it a nice regular decorative whipping with a lock stitch in it. Try to keep nice even tension as I'm pulling on it, so that it's nice, pretty looking. Okay, now we're gonna go across it one lock stitch in here. So those of you with the sailor's palm, you could do that, sailmaker's palm. I just force it through. That's me. Oops. Pretty, put another lock in it. Just got really strong fingers so I can just force it through, but a sailmaker's palm will definitely get the job done. Okay, let's go in here. And then go back across, another lock. And then we're going to do a couple more. All right, cut that off. Okay, cut that off. So that is that, and now we're going to put the taper in. That off. Now we're just gonna go and pick out a strand like every 3 strands. Nice even taper. Okay, now in with our sweet sharp serrated scissors. It's quite the title surge at this dock. Okay, all tapered, and now you just milk it. Boom. Alright, so that's one side of our end haulers. I gotta do it one more time. And then we're going to put an eye on the other end where it attaches to the block and tackle. Alright, so we got both of those guys spliced on, and then I measured out where the eye splice should be at the end of it. And then I made them both identical. So then I've run everything and I've double checked to make sure that it's all proper and running over and under all the proper stuff. And then so what I'm gonna do is we're gonna put an eye splice in the end of it, and I decided to add this little ball in there so that gets jammed up in there instead of the block and smashing up the sheaves. So hopefully that'll be kind of sacrificial, and it'll save this sheave and keep that from getting smashed up as well. Yeah, so splice that up. Okay, so we don't have to splice it directly to the shackle and the block yet, so we can go ahead and do a Brummel splice right here. So once again, I got the green ball on, and then okay, so you can see the setup here. So this was already there, so I just had to go through there, so no drilling holes, which is awesome. Got the little green ball to keep it from jamming up in the sheave. So this is when it's max on, so if you look over here, you can see how far in the end hauler is. I mean, not that you'll ever go that far, but you've got range to do that. And then on the other side, we've got it the max out, so you know, almost to the shrouds here, which is really good. So we've got good another 12 inches of range, actually more, because we couldn't, the furthest end it could come was right here. So yeah, we got about another 2.5 feet of range, not to mention this thing's on there, so it's not going to be banging up the gel coat like the original. So yeah, that's a pretty sweet little upgrade. All right, for our next upgrade on the 112, we're gonna replace this Cunningham setup that I've got going on here. This is like, you know, like a laser or an FJ boom bang. It's definitely not heavy duty enough for this size of boat. So yeah, so we just upgraded it. Next size up, you know, some 40 mil carbos. This will be more than adequate for it. And yeah, and then we'll put some eye splices in the end, so it's just easier to get on and off. All right, Cunningham's installed, so got a nice positive place to cleat off there. Got that spliced up. This is the Kingfisher Monfioli Swift cord. So it's a single braid, so it's perfect for this application. It's got Dyneema and polyester in it, so good for multiple purchases. And then I spliced a piece of 3/16 Dyneema, and then we'll go to the other side. The other side here is a nice splice there, and then I went to one of my soft shackles that goes to the tack point, not tack point, but the webbing here for the Cunningham. So that's the Cunningham. Okay, so the final upgrades for today is that we're gonna replace these turning blocks here for the main sheet. These are those new Harkin, whatever they are. I don't like them. They're solid sheave. They're a good economical, so like low cost, high load block, but solid sheave. There's no ball bearings in it, so it doesn't run very smoothly. Obviously it's under load right now, so we're gonna replace those with some Harkin Black Magics. These things are the bomb. That's what's up here at the top. Up there at the top, we've got that because it's doing the 180 degrees there, so a ton of friction there. But the 90 here, and my customers complaining there's a lot of friction in this system, and so I believe it's right here. So we can't do anything about that sheave, and those are good sheaves. And then same thing up here, so it's pretty cool. The main sheet is tucked into these little tubs here, turns down there, pops out there, goes there, and the same thing on the other side. So we're gonna upgrade it, and then we're gonna put some McLube 1-drop on all the other sheaves. Same thing with the Traveler, and then also somebody lashed these blocks here kind of far out, so you kind of limits, you know, you're losing a good 6 inches of travel there. So we're gonna tuck that up in there as close as we can without the blocks getting bound up. So that's the plan. So this is how I use this stuff. Anywhere where you see like the bearings there, or like right here on the top of the sheave. And then if you're doing the Traveler, what I do is I just squirt it on either side where the ball bearings contact it, and then I just run the Traveler back and forth over that to make sure that everything gets lubed up. Okay, so we replaced these blocks with the Harkin High Load Black Magics, and then I relashed the Traveler blocks because they were like all the way out to here. So now we gained some distance, and then lubed everything up with 1-drop. So that's great for all your ball bearings, Traveler car blocks, anywhere you see bearings. So don't use that spray stuff, use the 1-drop. But yeah, so things running like butter now. Yeah, so customers should be pretty happy with that. Let's see. Yeah, new jib sheets, new barber hauler setup, new Cunningham, new jib, halyard, chafe sleeve, and yeah, that's pretty much it for today's project. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode.